Hello everyone and welcome back to Wise Age Meaning. Have you ever wondered, is it okay to masturbate at my age? Or could it harm my health? Or maybe you felt guilty or ashamed for still having those natural urges. Don't worry, you're not alone. There are so many myths and misunderstandings surrounding this topic, and these misconceptions often leave people confused, fearful, or even denying themselves the right to enjoy their own bodies. So, what are the 9 most common myths about masturbation in old age? Let's debunk them together with science, empathy, and an open mind. 1. The influence of traditional education and old moral standards. One of the deepest reasons why many older adults harbor misconceptions about masturbation or feel guilt and shame when thinking about it stems from the traditional education and outdated moral standards they were raised with. In Asian societies, particularly in Vietnam, sex has long been a taboo topic, rarely discussed openly and often labeled as dirty or immoral. Many older adults grew up in environments where anything related to sex was shrouded in silence or met with warnings. Parents, teachers, or schools rarely provided objective, scientific sex education. The little information available was often fear-based, aimed at controlling behavior rather than fostering understanding, self-awareness, or health protection. As a result, masturbation, a natural part of psychosexual development, was stigmatized as filthy, depraved, or even sick. Some older adults were warned that masturbation could cause blindness, impotence, or divine punishment, or mark them as dishonest people. These messages, ingrained from childhood, became psychological barriers, making it hard for them to openly acknowledge their needs, even with doctors, partners, or children. The lack of proper sex education and the imposition of rigid moral standards have led to persistent feelings of shame and guilt, especially in old age. Many believe that only immature kids masturbate, and that mature, family-oriented adults shouldn't or aren't allowed to. This creates heavy psychological pressure, causing some to avoid seeking sexual health care, missing opportunities to live healthier, happier lives. Today's society is becoming more open, and scientific knowledge about sexuality is constantly updated, yet the shadows of old education still linger, significantly shaping the perceptions, attitudes, and behaviors of many older adults towards sex and masturbation. The key is to reflect and change so everyone, regardless of age, can live authentically, free from guilt or fear about their natural human needs. 2. Lack of modern medical and scientific knowledge. One of the biggest barriers fueling misconceptions about masturbation among older adults is the lack of access to modern medical and scientific knowledge. For decades, information about sexual health, especially for middle-aged or older individuals, has been scarce or overly general, often lacking scientific grounding. For today's older generation, keeping up with new research on male and female physiology, hormonal changes, sexual capacity, or psychological shifts in old age is no easy task. Many rely on hearsay from friends, neighbors, or outdated books and articles that lack credibility. This leads to persistent beliefs that masturbation causes impotence, shortens lifespan, damages the brain, or impairs memory, none of which are supported by credible scientific studies. Others assume that in old age, sexual desire fades entirely, making masturbation unhealthy or even immoral. These beliefs are often reinforced within communities, making people hesitant to seek professional advice. Moreover, modern media tends to focus on younger audiences, leaving little room for sexual health information tailored to older adults. There's a lack of expert voices or specific guidance, leaving many who want to understand their bodies or maintain a healthy sex life unsure of where to find reliable resources. This knowledge gap fuels reliance on rumors, folklore, or unverified miracle cures that can do more harm than good. For example, some attribute fatigue, back pain, or insomnia to masturbation, when these are likely age or due to underlying conditions, not masturbation itself. This misunderstanding breeds anxiety and self-blame, creating unnecessary psychological stress. The lack of scientific literacy also makes older adults hesitant to seek urological or gynecological care, fearing judgment or dismissal. Yet experts agree that masturbation in old age, when done moderately and appropriately, is harmless and can maintain sexual function, reduce stress, lower prostate risks, improve sleep, and enhance quality of life. With the rise of the internet and modern media, sexual health knowledge is more accessible than ever. But older adults need to build the habit of seeking credible sources and consulting experts to live healthier, more confident lives, free from outdated myths. 3. Influence of religion and social norms. Beyond traditional education, another major factor contributing to misconceptions about masturbation is the influence of religion and long-standing social norms. In many cultures, especially in the East, sexual matters, particularly masturbation, are not only taboo, but also tied to moral and even spiritual judgments. Many major religions, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, or local folk beliefs, have strict teachings about sexual behavior. Masturbation is often condemned as sinful, impure, or offensive to divine will, damaging personal and familial morality. These teachings, reinforced through religious services, family practices, or community norms, embed fear and guilt in people from a young age, making masturbation a source of shame well into old age. Beyond religion, societal expectations of virtue and moral decency further stigmatize masturbation, especially for older adults. In the eyes of the community, an older person expressing sexual desire or engaging in masturbation might be seen as improper, unnatural, or shameless. This fear of judgment or loss of respect from family and peers forces many to suppress their natural urges. Additionally, the pressure to be a role model for younger generations adds another layer of restraint. Many older adults feel they must uphold an image of a wise elder or respectable figure, avoiding any behavior like masturbation that might be perceived as indulgent or inappropriate. The combination of rigid religious doctrines and conservative social norms creates a formidable barrier, making it difficult for older adults to accept their natural desires, let alone discuss them openly. This leads to internalized guilt, avoidance, or self-criticism instead of understanding and support. To overcome this myth, society needs more open dialogue, respect for individual diversity, and professional guidance to help older adults feel safe, embracing their needs. Only then can they live authentically and healthily, free from the weight of outdated beliefs. 4. Equating old age with the end of sexuality. One of the most pervasive myths about sexual life in old age, and a key reason many older adults feel ashamed or confused about masturbation, is the assumption that old age means the end of all sexual desire. Society has long perpetuated the image that aging equates to frailty, reduced productivity, and the complete cessation of sexual needs. Phrases like, "You're too old for that," "Focus on your grandkids instead," or "At my age, that's all behind me," are commonly heard, subtly pressuring older adults to dismiss their legitimate sexual desires. This belief leads many to undervalue or outright deny their natural urges. They may feel embarrassed or abnormal if they still experience desire, or consider masturbation, assuming it's something only younger people do. This mindset not only lacks scientific backing, but also deprives older adults of opportunities to care for their sexual health, maintain confidence, and enjoy life. Natural physiological changes like reduced hormones or erectile difficulties reinforce the idea that sex is no longer relevant. Instead of seeking knowledge about healthy sexual aging, many choose silence, enduring or suppressing their emotions. The misconception that masturbation is just for the young or that older adults engaging in it are past their prime adds further stigma, making sexual health discussions feel inappropriate or shameful. In reality, science confirms that sexual desire doesn't vanish with age. The human body at any stage can experience pleasure and benefit from intimacy, provided it aligns with health and personal circumstances. Denying or trivializing sexual needs in old age diminishes quality of life, confidence, and self-love. Breaking this myth requires a shift in societal perception, creating space for older adults to express their needs openly and respectfully. This is the foundation for living healthier, happier, and free from guilt at any stage of life. 5. Hormonal changes and sexual health. As we age, the body, especially in men, undergoes significant biological changes, with the most notable being the decline in sex hormones, particularly testosterone. This natural process is often misunderstood, leading to misconceptions about masturbation in old age. Lower testosterone levels typically reduce sexual desire, but this doesn't mean the need for intimacy or pleasure disappears entirely. Yet, many older adults, noticing they are not like before, become self-conscious, assuming they should abandon masturbation or that it's no longer necessary. Physical changes like reduced erectile function, longer times to achieve arousal, or less intense orgasms can spark fears that masturbation might harm health, damage the penis, or further deplete hormones. These concerns, while common, lack scientific evidence but persist due to limited sexual health education. Additionally, age declines in metabolism, blood circulation, and nervous system function can create a sense of bodily depletion, leading some to mistakenly believe that masturbation will drain their remaining energy, accelerating aging. In truth, modern science shows that moderate, appropriate masturbation in old age is harmless and beneficial. It can improve mood, reduce stress, enhance blood flow, lower prostate health risks, and maintain sexual function. The key is listening to the body, choosing comfortable times and methods, and avoiding obsessive behavior. Understanding these hormonal and physiological changes empowers older adults to approach their needs confidently without unfounded fears. By debunking myths, they can embrace masturbation as a natural, healthy part of aging, enhancing their well-being and quality of life. 6. Fear of negative physical or mental health effects. One of the most persistent fears preventing older adults from masturbating or causing guilt when they consider it is the belief that it harms physical or mental health. This fear is widespread, rooted in community myths, hearsay, and unscientific warnings passed down through generations. Common claims like masturbation weakens the body, causes rapid aging, back pain or knee aches, or leads to mental disorders and memory loss are deeply ingrained, despite lacking evidence. For older adults, natural age symptoms like fatigue, joint pain, or memory decline are often wrongly blamed on masturbation, reinforcing these fears. This creates a cycle of anxiety when the body shows signs of aging. Some attribute it to masturbation, leading to stress and self-blame that further impacts mental health. Others believe masturbation is a lonely or weak-willed act, signaling psychological abnormality or moral failure, especially in old age. In contrast, science highlights that moderate masturbation benefits older adults by reducing stress, improving sleep, boosting mood, enhancing circulation, and supporting prostate health. Mental health-wise, it fosters self-connection and emotional positivity, combating loneliness. Issues arise only when masturbation becomes compulsive or a way to avoid deeper psychological concerns, but for most, it's a healthy practice when balanced and guilt-free. By addressing these fears with facts, older adults can embrace their needs without worry, enhancing their overall well-being. 7. Lack of open communication and safe spaces. Many older adults stay silent about sexual matters, especially masturbation, not because they lack curiosity, but because they've been conditioned to believe these things shouldn't be discussed. Questions or concerns go unvoiced, bottled up due to embarrassment or fear of judgment. In families, parents don't talk, children don't ask, and partners hesitate to share. In society, the topic is rarely broached, leading people to feel abnormal or fear being seen as odd or overly lustful. This lack of open dialogue perpetuates myths and fears, leaving older adults unsure of what's true. Many avoid seeking medical advice for sexual health concerns, fearing ridicule or dismissal. Creating safe, non-judgmental spaces for honest conversations could dispel these misconceptions, offering relief and confidence. A single heartfelt story can make someone feel understood and empowered to embrace their natural needs. Encouraging openness is key to helping older adults live joyfully and lightly in their later years. 8. Negative childhood experiences or scare tactics. For many older adults, guilt and fear about masturbation stem from negative childhood experiences. Some were scolded, shamed, or threatened by parents, teachers, or elders with warnings that masturbation was wrong, dirty, or would lead to blindness, impotence, or divine punishment. These messages, though seemingly harmless at the time, left lasting scars on young minds. As adults, these early fears resurface, causing hesitation or guilt whenever natural urges arise. Even those who recognize masturbation's normality may feel anxious, wondering if they're doing something wrong. A single instance of being caught or reprimanded can haunt someone into old age, undermining confidence in their natural desires. These fears are amplified by community gossip and unverified tales, creating a pervasive sense of shame. In reality, masturbation is a normal human behavior at any age. Letting go of past scare tactics and embracing scientific understanding can free older adults to live confidently, unburdened by outdated myths, and find joy in their bodies daily. 9. Self-consciousness and fear of being abnormal. Another common reason for misconceptions about masturbation is self-consciousness and the fear of being different. Many older adults notice that peers or friends rarely discuss sexual matters, projecting an image of having outgrown desire. This leads to the assumption that having sexual urges or masturbating is odd or inappropriate for their age. Societal norms reinforce that older adults should be past such things, and those who express sexual needs risk being labeled indecent or immature. To avoid judgment, many suppress their desires, hide their feelings, or deny their needs, leading to isolation and emotional disconnection. Comparing themselves to others or believing they're the only ones with these feelings deepens this self-doubt, making open discussion daunting. Yet, sexual desire is universal, and masturbation is a natural expression of it, regardless of age. Recognizing that they're not alone can lift this burden, allowing older adults to embrace their needs with confidence and live more joyfully. Conclusion: you're not alone. Let's embrace and honor ourselves, because every need and emotion at any age is a natural, precious part of life. Don't let myths or guilt hold you back from living fully, healthily, and happily every day. You're not alone on this journey. Each of us deserves to be understood, heard, and true to our feelings. If you found value here, please subscribe and leave a comment below, because Wise Age Meaning isn't just a channel, it's a home for those who want to live meaningfully, heal, and inspire one another. Let's make aging a journey full of joy and pride together.